All right, guys, Mac and Neil here to bring you some spiritual perspective to your problems, to your issues, whatever you got going on. So here's the question. We have Eleanor. I got Bell's palsy 2 years ago on the left side of my face. It's mostly gone now, but especially when I'm stressed, it comes back a little. So here's what I got, Neil. So I did look into some past life connections here. And I did get a few lives, and it seems like the emotion that is attached to all of this is helplessness. So I can imagine she mentioned something about, and if you go deeper into her, all these texts, but it came out of nowhere, not brought on by pregnancy, and started right after I started my Saturn return. Wonders what happened. So I do think something around this pregnancy triggered this feeling for her, which is why it manifested as Bell's palsy. So the first life I got was she was outside of a house. I want to say it was like Germany 1400s is what it felt like. It was very like old school. There is a fire on the house. She had a baby or a child inside, could not get to the baby. And I felt like it burned the side of her body. Then the next one, I wrote them all down. Somewhere in Europe. Yeah, this one was an intense one. So she stole food, but not because she wanted to, but like she was completely helpless. Like she was trying to feed her children. And I saw her like out on the street begging. But eventually she just tried to do what she could. And then she was arrested, punished. And the next thing I felt was like a clubbing on the side of the left side of my head. And then the third one kind of made me laugh a little bit. She was just a school child, like a Chinese school child. And it felt like the teacher kept tugging on her left ear because it was like punishment, but she'd get punished for everything and she just couldn't stand it. And not that I blame her, but again, it's prompting this helplessness feeling of being a small child and not being able to sort of stand up for yourself. So those were the three I got connected to the specific issue right now for her.
Yeah, so I haven't gone into this yet, so we're going in live. And when you're talking about actually the very first thing that came to mind was what you were seeing for that first past life. I saw fire and I saw a lot of just burning along the left side of the body and especially the face. So there was just a lot of like tissue and neurological damage there. And then what came up after that as well was another iteration of the word you're speaking to, helplessness, but there's also the word, it's really strong, but it's just trapped. And part of it is a residual of like being trapped in your body, being trapped in a situation, being trapped in these circumstances that you're almost just rendered like helpless.
Right.
And I actually am seeing a situation where it's a deeply neurological thing. It's like when someone gets some TBI, some traumatic brain injury, and the body becomes non-functional, but mentally, emotionally, everything is still fully functioning. And so it's like this person who's just trapped in their body. And I can feel that for these are residuals of a lot of these experiences. On a good note, is it doesn't feel like these are karmic things you're making up for lessons. It feels like this is just the residual as these things are releasing. It feels like really like the tail end of what these soul lessons would be. Right. And I think what she'll find is really beginning to step into her power is what begins to really clear out the final layers of this. And I think there's a reason why this is connected to the pregnancy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pregnancy. Yeah. I think there's a big piece in mother-child dynamic here where mom begins to really step into her own. And I'm not quite sure what that has to do with the child, but I think as she really begins to regain a sense of control, a sense of empowerment in her life, that puts the end to this experience, to these issues.
Yeah, I think so too. And I do resonate with you saying that this is not karmic. I did not get a karmic energy on this either. It definitely felt more of just like a triggered energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was holding on to something subconsciously pretty deep. There's just sort of time to let this go. And I think for people watching this, that's something to understand, and how deeply connected we are to these past lives, to our soul contracts, to our soul, that when specific physical symptoms come up like that, it's not always, and almost never is really, a random occurrence or bad luck or anything like that. It really is your body communicating to you. It's time to release something. There's a pattern here. You have to let this go. And sometimes you just have to sort of go through those emotions, as difficult as it is, and the emotion of the body, sort of release what you've been holding on to on a subconscious level. So yeah, I do think you're right. Because
Yeah, and
there's
again,
a lot of feeling around this helplessness feeling. And the trapped energy, I think, is sort of the same for me. So when you're trapped, you're helpless. So that definitely, yeah, I can see that too.
yeah, and I'll say too, for this person, I think trapped may be a bigger theme in this life. You know, the palsy is it's a little residual, like physical manifestation in it. But what's being learned is, you know, again, it's this person's ability to really break free out of any sort of limitation or constraint or restriction, be that like physical, but more importantly, emotional, right? There's your ability to really step forward and shine and get what you deserve, and you know, go
Right,
after whatever things you want in your life, and knowing that you can have it.
right,
Yeah.
right. All right, Eleanor. Well, I hope that helped. Good luck. I hope you don't have more issues with your beautiful face and all that. And we'll leave it there. So,
We love ya, and
all
you are
right. Love you
beautiful.
guys. See you later. Bye. Okay, cool.
It's fun.
Easy.